A whipping top and a little ball lay together in a box among other toys.
Shall we be married, as we live in the same box?
The ball, which thought as much of herself as any other young lady, didn't want to reply. The next day came the little boy to whom the toys belonged and painted the top in bright colors, and drove a nail into the middle so he looked better than before.
Look at me, what do you say now? Shall we be engaged to each other? We should suit up so well. You can spring and I dance. No one could be happier than we should be.
Do you think so? Perhaps you do not know that my father and mother wear fine slippers and that I have a cork in my body.
But I'm made of mahogany, and the mayor himself turned me.
Can I believe it?
Of course.
Sorry, but I cannot accept your proposal. I'm almost engaged to a swallow. Every time I fly up in the air, he puts his head out of the nest and says, "Will you?" And I have said yes, to myself silently, and that is as good as being half engaged. But I will promise never to forget you.
Next day the ball was taken out by the boy. The top saw it flying high in the air like a bird. The ninth time it rose in the air, it did not return. The boy searched everywhere for it, but it could not be found.
I know very well where she is. She has married the swallow now.
The more the top thought of this, the more he longed for the ball. His love increased just because he could not get her, but then several years passed by, and his love became quite old. The top now looked better than he ever did before, and he whirled and danced, and was something worth looking at. One day he leaped too high, and then he also was gone. They searched everywhere, even in the cellar, but he was nowhere to be found. He had jumped into the dustbin, where all sorts of rubbish were lying.
Oh no, my pretty golden color will soon be washed off here. What a set of garbage I've got myself into.
The top glanced around and saw a strange round object lying next to him. It was the ball, which was so through with water.
Thank God, here comes one of my own class. Finally someone I can talk to. I am made of fine leather. I was sewn together by a young lady, and I have a cork in my body. But no one would think it, to look at me now. I was once engaged to a swallow, but I fell in here from the gutter under the roof, and I have lain here for more than 5 years.
The top said nothing, but he thought of his old love, and the more he said, the more clear it became to him that this was the same ball. Then a servant came and found the top. He was brought again to notice and honor, but nothing more was heard of the little ball. The top spoke not a word about his old love, because sometimes when the beloved object has lain for 5 years in the dustbin and has been drenched through, no one cares to know it again.